Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome to episode 44 of ShrigleytubeTV. Thank you for everyone who made comments last week regarding where I should go with the channel, you know, what should be happening. So we're going to keep everything on this one channel. We're not doing two channels, and we're going to put the Sunday night up 7 o'clock as we have done for the last year virtually. So that'll carry on going, and anything random that I think you might enjoy I will put up during the week. If you're a subscriber, no doubt your phone will notify you, or your computer in some way, so you can see what's going on. So thank you very much for everyone who took the time to help me out making a decision there. Regards work this week, I've finished the black engine. That was really strong. Put some more fuel in, a bit bigger jets, and tidied the advance up, and we saw 75 foot-pound out of that, so that's gone out. That was good. And then you might remember Ed had the rally car. He had a problem with his engine, so we had a week to sort it out. So we dropped the car off on Tuesday morning, with it being the bank holiday, and we've been flat out sorting that out. So that's all good. And then I made a decision to go racing as well. I was going to leave it for this year, just with the move and everything else happening in my life. So I thought, you know what, it's summertime, sun's come out, let's get sorted. So I've entered Mallory Park, which is next weekend, the 18th and 19th, with the CTCRC. So if you're around and you can get down, come and say hello. That'll be a great weekend of racing. And also Brands Hatch, which is later on in the year. And I'm going to go to Jersey as well for the Festival of Motoring. That's a fantastic weekend if you ever fancy going to Jersey to watch the Motoring Festival. That's the first weekend in June. It's like the 29th of May to the 2nd or 3rd of June. It's all on the internet anyway if you want to see. So that's the plan anyway at this stage. I've just fixed the gearbox because that had some work, but you'll see all that in a minute. I'll stop waffling now, let you get on with watching what we've been up to, and I look forward to seeing you all next Sunday at 7. Bye for now. Okay, YouTubers, I thought we'd start the week off by finishing the black engine. Just had a little mess around with the advance. I basically tidied up the advance. It was doing it all a bit too early. So we've made the advance come in later, which tends to help me too. And also I've gone up on the fuel size. Obviously it's got a little bit more compression now, and we have gone up about 12 cc's. And I just thought it might want a bit more fuel, so we tried that, and instantly it goes to about 5,000. See, nearly 73, 5,000, still holding it up. Gone up to 75 foot. 6,000, holding it lovely. 7. So at 7,000 it still had nearly 75 foot-pounds, so it's really helped it that. I think we've gained about 3-4 foot-pound over last time we ran it. It's an average air day about 1,000 millibar. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. I've took that heat wrap off the exhaust just to save it from overheating and crystallising. Right, I just wanted to touch on that. We've finished that now. We'll move on to the next job. Okay, YouTubers, it's Monday morning, and I'm being greeted by this lovely rally imp belonging to Ed Linton. Now, unfortunately, I had to retire from a rally at weekend because the engine started smoking. So he's brought it back and said, look, I'm out next weekend. Is there any chance you can have a look at it and see what you can do? So I've been for a quick run in it. It drives okay. I'm really unsure as to what's happened to it. It does appear to have you know, possibly ingested some dust, although he has kept up to date with his air cleaners. He's kept them clean. It's just steam cleaned all this, so it is nice and clean as it's arrived to me. But yeah, I'm really unsure as to what's up with it. I'm going to take it apart anyway, and I'll report with what I see. I'll just fire it up so you can see the smoke for yourself. It's got a good oil pressure still, and all the water's stayed in the right place, etc. If I put the exhaust heads out over there, I'll give it a rev. Well, it's not excessive, but it's not good. So I'm going to take the engine out, we'll get it apart, and I'll see what I can see what's wrong with it. Okay, I'm just about to start work on the Smoky rally car engine, and I thought I might have a bit of a rethink on this. Last night I moved everything around. I put race Hillman outside so that we could put the customer's car indoors, because I'm a bit concerned about leaving it outside in the yard overnight. Anyway, I've been thinking about this smoking issue. and I thought, you know what, we've not got much time to sort it. I might take the head off in situ just in case it's a bad guide. I don't think it is. I'm pretty convinced it's piston ring smoke, but you never stop learning with this job. So it is relatively fresh, like I said, the engine. It's done 1,000 miles since it had a rebore and new pistons. So I'm going to take the head off and we'll see what we see. Okay, little update on the Smoky engine. I've had a look at the ports and they all look uniformly sort of black. There's not one that's more oily than the other. So if I turn my attention to the carburetors, I think what we've had, though I'm not confirming yet, is a contamination issue, because you can see where the muck has been pulled through the air cleaner, and can you see it all in the venturi there? So I mean, that's just what's got stuck to the carburetor. Can you imagine how much it's eaten? And what happens is stuff gets inside the engine, and obviously you've got like an oil film on the bores. The dust sticks to it and it wears the ringlands out, which is, the ringland is where the ring sits in the aluminium, the groove. So we'll take the head off, but I suspect it hasn't got a guide problem at all like I initially thought. I think it's probably new pistons job. Okay chaps, in at the business end now. Just had the head off this, and from what I can see, we've got major oil contamination issues. The head gasket appears to be surviving quite well, but you can see all the carbon in the chamber there. If we turn our attention to the cylinder, to the engine block, you see that oil running down the bore there? That's what the oil control ring hasn't managed to control, basically. So you can almost see the oil is pooled in the valve cutouts, and it's running down there as well. So yeah, I think this has got a ring issue. I'm not 100% sure it's down to the contamination of the bad air with the dust in it, but I suspect it is. We'll get the pistons out next and have another look at it and make a decision. Okay, I think we fully understand now what's gone on with the engine. Basically, the carburetors have not, the air filters haven't done their job properly and have allowed dust in, which has worn the piston rings out, and the piston ring lands on the pistons. So you can see the gap there is up at like nearly 3 millimeters, hence why it was smoking. So the beauty of an imp is you can quite easily take the radiator out and get access to the sump end of the engine. Now, looking at the sump and the oil that came out of it, now I know that Ed's pretty meticulous on his oil changes, but I can see this, like, I call it the grey slime, and what that is probably aluminium and stuff, and just whenever they breathe dust past the air filters like this one has, it gets into the sump and it settles at the very, very bottom. So yeah, that's not good, that, I'm afraid. I've not even put a G-clamp around the crankshaft because the engine had oil pressure, no problem, it still had 50 psi. So I'm just going to do what we call putting a plaster patch on it. I'm going to give it a light hone. You follow me in here. I've got a brand new set of pistons here, so we'll put these new pistons on these Maynard ones, which are the same as the ones that are on it. So we'll get them on. The bearings, remarkably, God knows how, all look good. And if I pick a piston, you can see straight away. If I try and do this one-handed, I have to put it on the stand, but can you see the ring, the flutter? What's happened is the dust has come in, settled on the oil film on the bore. The ring wipes it, and it particularly attacks the top ring because that's the top ring that sees all the dust, and then the dust mixes with the oil and makes like a grinding paste, and it just wears the whole thing out. Obviously I've not measured the skirts or anything, but the pistons are cream crackered now. So we'll get the new pistons swapped onto them rods, give it a light hone, and get it back together. Hopefully we'll get a result so we can be out for weekend. Okay YouTubers, we're all back together. We've got the new pistons in the engine. I've ran it, it runs sweet as a nut. I'll pull it out of the garage here and we'll have a proper run of it in a minute and go for a test drive. Got all the fan assembly back together, I put his new carburetors on with his carburetor linkage, and they are running as sweet as a nut they are. And then also I fitted this. This is one of my Shrigley airboxes that Mr. Chris Benoy makes for me, that fit the imp with the chassis leg. Obviously this chassis leg has actually been modified, so it's got plenty of room around it. So we've got this completely sealed off now, so there's no air. I've used some silicone around the outside, so from there to there it's fully sealed. What we're going to do next is go in here, and what we've got is, sorry about that, just caught my microphone cable on the door handle and fell on the floor. So what we've got here is, this is his new snorkel. So this is the air pipe I'm going to put on the sealed air box, and then I've got a K&N type filter, but I've also got, if I pull this apart, we've got a little pipe across, little cone filter. So we're going to have this inside here, which will hopefully mean that the dust will not be able to infiltrate the engine and wear the pistons out again. Eventually, I've had a chat with Ed, and we've decided we're going to try and make it like the historic cars back in the day, where they had a cold air feed from the back window. That'll be the perfect solution. But this is just going to get him through the weekend, because obviously he's out at the weekend, so we'll look forward to hearing how he gets on. Just out on a test drive in the Rally Imp, cruising around, put a few miles on the clock, drives very nicely, got some oil pressure, handy. Smoke seems to have subsided. I've not given it any real grief yet, because obviously we want the new pistons to bed in, but the smoke does seem to have stopped now, so that's all good. So we're just waiting for Ed to arrive at the workshop, and he's going to get loaded up, ready to go to his rally. Okay YouTubers, Ed's come to collect his Rally Imp, and I've been for a test drive. It's all good. It's we've not put much time on it, but it appears to have bedded in perfectly. So that light hone, obviously the rings are all settled in now, and hopefully it's going to have a good rally this weekend. We're off this weekend, aren't we, Ed? Where are we off to?
We're off to Brecon Beacons.
Brecon Beacons.
Yeah, doing the Gremlin rally, which dates back to kind of 70s really, when it used to be a night event. It's now a road navigational rally. Right. Starts tomorrow, 2 days, bit in the afternoon tomorrow, and then all day Sunday. Over Epping, which I'm really excited about. Yeah. And using the halfway forest, all on gravel. So yeah, it should be quite exciting really. Well,
I went to Brecon. I went over the Black Mountain like 20 years ago in my XR3i, when we went to watch the RAC rally, right. And I was dead tired, and there was rocks at the side of the road, right, bordering, and I had a double blowout. I hit burst bolt tyres, and a farmer came past, stopped, saw I was in distress. He said, follow me to the farm. He had an old Sierra there, let me take 2 wheels off it, put them on, and I got home. But yeah, good times. Yeah,
so it's always exciting to do Epping. Really enjoy that from the old rolling days.
I really hope I've screwed it back together and everything's going to be absolutely good for you. It's been good for me so far. So we've now got the new snorkel, the elephant trunk in place. This has got, I've done a video on this, Ed, you can watch it on Sunday night, right. Hopefully with your trophy in your hand. Yeah, they've got the double air filter, and it's all airtight, so there's no way any dust can get in. So, well, all I can say is I look forward to hearing how you get on.
Yeah, Randy, I really appreciate you turning the cars around from last weekend. I know that we had the bank holiday, but I honestly really appreciate how quickly you've turned it around for me.
It's been a pleasure, Ed, and you are my #1 YouTube star. You do know that your video of you got the most hits out of all my videos?
Well, we'll see whether it hits the same.
Yeah, I'm going to put this as my thumbnail, big picture of your Bond smiling. Thanks very much.
Yeah, cheers, Andy. Cheers.
Right, Ed's done his first day rallying on Saturday, and he's sent me this, which is Sunday dinner time, so he's well into it. And just look at the amount of dust. You can see now why the engine suffered so badly with the contamination issues. So hopefully them 2 air filters are keeping the air nice and clean, and the engine will still be fit at the end of the night. Okay, YouTubers, I'm really excited. It's race prep week nearly. It's actually Saturday morning before the week of the event, and I pulled the Hillman out of the garage where he's been hiding for most of winter, and we've got a few jobs to do on him before we can go racing, so we're going to do some work on the steering column. I've disconnected the drive shaft, so you can see there, been underneath this morning, so I'm going to drop the engine and box out. I've foolishly, I've gone for second gear, and I've gone across the gate and caught reverse, which has completely annihilated reverse gear mechanism. So we're going to sort the gearbox out, because having no reverse gear is actually a real pain in the backside. So got the steering column to do, which we're going to put some needle rolls in. I'll go about that in a minute. Now this engine is the engine I did for Brands Hatch last year. I did like a bit of a mini series, didn't I, where we machined the head at an angle and put the new manifold with the straighter run pipes on it. So it's been a good engine this, but it only ever made 11.6 to 1 compression, and I was in such a rush I didn't have time to remachine it. Now what I plan to do is, I hate taking material off the cylinder head face to gain compression, because once you took it you can't put it back, and the heads are quite expensive. But what I propose to do is, we're going to have a little bit of an inspection of it, take it apart, and I'm going to take 20 thou off the top of the block, which will give me a 20 thou intrusion on the piston, and then we'll machine round the piston to create little intrusion areas which will reduce the capacity of the combustion chamber at top dead centre, which will in turn increase the compression ratio. So roughly 20 thou at 74 mil bore is 2 cc's. So with a bit of niggling and jiggling we should be able to gain 1.5 cc's, which should take us into the low 12s, 12 to 1 compression. So that's the plan, guys. I'm going to crack on and get on with it while the sun's out. Okay YouTubers, I've got the gearbox out of the Race Hillman. Just to go through what I did, I've gone for the second gear in a hurry. I've gone right across the gate and I've managed to get it into reverse, which has broken the reverse gear. So I thought before we take it apart I'd try and understand what's happened. Now all I can say is, between there and there is normal movement, and then normally we have to push the spring loaded indent backwards to enter the reverse gate, and then we go backwards on the gear lever, which is out on there. So we do actually still have a reverse gear. I can see that the donuts are going around the right way there. So we do have reverse. I just couldn't get it in the car for some reason. So we'll pull the end cover off and we'll see why that plunger isn't engaging. Okay, the plot thickens. Unfortunately, it looks like we've had a debris issue in the end of the gearbox, which has been interfering with the reverse gear selection. Now that to me looks like a dog off a sliding hub or off a gear, which isn't good at all. So I think we're going to have to investigate this job a little bit further than I first intended. Right, okay, well unfortunately as I've got more into this gearbox I've found more problems. So I've removed the inspection panel on the bottom of the differential. That gives you access to the crown wheel and pinion so you can see the condition. I have a ring of magnets on there, and most of the goo on it is sort of like the sort of usual sort of bits of dogs and just general wear that's obviously magnetic, and it's stuck to it. But there was one other extra piece which I was trying to work out what it was. It's quite malleable, and I thought I bet that's a cage off a bearing. Now luckily I did wonder if it was the one behind the pinion, but I just took the end of the gearbox off, just started to take it apart. I took the reverse gears off and I can see straight away that there's a massive issue with the end of this this shaft. The bearing is absolutely cream crackered, and I don't know, I've never seen this happen before. It's not blue, so it's not been hot. I'm beginning to wonder if there's a chance that some of the debris, or this is actually a sliding dog that I've got here that's broke clean off. Now I've seen this plenty of times before because they're just too thin basically. That should be like twice the width, but it's been sharpened over the years and got thinner and thinner, and it's just ripped it straight out of the root. So has that caused that? Because I can't see any reason why that cage would fail. There's no reason for it to fail. Anyway, if you've got an idea, put it in the comment section. I'll carry on taking it apart and we'll see what we see. Right, I've got the tail housing off and the main housing off the gearbox, so we can see the 4 gear ratios exposed, and I can see straight away where the that's the tooth there that's been knocked off. you can see where it's been ripped straight out of the roots. Now the ones that watching this that know about these gearboxes will realise straight away that it's had an Andy mod where I delete every other dog. So instead of having 8 dogs, it has 4. So this is potentially one of the issues with removing every other dog. I'm just really grateful that this little tooth, which is very hard, didn't get stuck between the 2 gears, because it would have burst the gearbox or jammed it or made a right mess of it. Looking at the gears, I think it's literally gone straight to the magnet and stayed there, or straight to the back of the gearbox. The way the oil flow works on this is, because the crown wheel's going round in that direction there, the oil flicks through these holes and carries the oil over all the gears to the back of the gearbox and back down again. That's why it's always this bearing that overheats when you run with low oil level. And that's the little bearing that sits in the housing and looks like this one. This is the most temperamental bearing. That's why I was so surprised to see that one's got an issue. But I'm beginning to think more and more it's had a debris issue rather than an actual overheating issue. It looks like it's been running happy despite the cage breaking. So yeah, it's peeled it back there, hasn't it? Interesting. Right, so we'll get a new bearing in there. Luckily in my spares box I found some good sliding dogs, so we're going to swap out that sliding dog for a good one, because I need to get this back together today, because I need to take the engine apart before tomorrow, so I know what I've got, because I've got a busy week next week. And yeah, we want to be ready in plenty of time for Mallory next weekend. Wicked. Right, we're back together, and I think we're going to have time to do another little job which has just arrived, which we'll talk about next, to do with the steering column. So I have put all this back together, and we're going to play a little game now, because what I've just realised when I've come to put it back together is the initial build of this gearbox, which took place a couple of years ago, there was a critical error. Now, for the first viewer to put in the comments box what that error was on this gearbox, I'll send them a free t-shirt. Right, I'll leave it at that. It's pretty obvious, but only if you know gearboxes. I'll put the end on and we'll see if we've got all the gears in the right place. Right, we're all back together with the gearbox, which is nice. I've got just enough time to start doing my needle rollers for my steering column. So this is neutral now. Forwards and backwards will be first, second, third and fourth. And if I put them all, these adjustable span on to get some leverage, I can snap it across to reverse. So, all good. Let's get it back in the car with the engine once we sorted that out, and hopefully it'll be all good for Mallory. Okay, just on with a bit of race car prep, and something I wanted to share with you chaps. I've obviously gone for a different position steering column on my imp, because I sit much further back in the car with the seat is right back behind the door post there. So all this is manufactured. Now it's on a nylon bush. I'd completely forgotten, but when I was on the start line at Brands Hatch last year, I think because of the heat, the bushes were tight. Can you see how tight that is? So when it gets warm, I don't know whether they swell or whatever, but this is obviously the UJs that go down to the rack. And if you look at the bottom there, I've fitted a adjustable swivel bearing to support the rack as it goes in, just there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock these bushes out. Just zoom out a second. Knock these bushes out. There's one there and there's one there. And then I'm going to replace them with needle rollers, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. So if you fancy doing the same mod to your car, because an imp has lovely precise steering, but when it's binding up like that, you just lose that feel. Following on from the steering column needle butt bearings, they've actually arrived in the post. So I've got 2 of them, one for the top and one for the bottom. And they're lovely. I just, because I couldn't quite get the right diameter to go inside the tube, I'm going to have to make a sleeve to go on the outside. So what I'll do is I'll make some sleeves to go on them with a top hat, so that they sit against each end of the outer tube, and then that'll be lovely. That we'll have a lovely nice steering. I'll crack on with that, but unfortunately, because the gearbox has been such a pain, needing more work than I anticipated, I've run out of time on today. So we'll be next week when we tackle that, but we'll get it sorted for Mallory. I was just on with taking my engine out of my Hillman, and this lovely little comma van turned up. This belongs to my pal Bernie. He's just come to borrow some argon for his welding. He's welding a Hillman van up in his spare time that he's got. Well, he's not got any spare time because he's retired and he's busier than ever, but he said he didn't mind. It's just so lovely if I made a little video of the van. Look at that. I think it's based on it's a comma of some type. We'll ask him some questions, but it's lovely inside there. Bernie, what is this?
It's a 1970 comma Jennings camper van.
It's absolutely lovely. Is this the one called Gladys?
No, this is Jim.
Jim?
This is called Jim.
It's a male van?
It's a male van.
Wow.
It's called Jim because the bloke bought it off was called James. So.
Mate, do you mind if I look in the back?
Certainly can.
Is that alright? I think it's absolutely oozing with character. And could you open the door, please? Thanks. Look at that. Obviously, it's got a gas bottle at the moment, but it's all wood. It's absolutely beautiful. I bet you and the missus love going away in it, don't you?
We do.
I bet you get stuck at petrol stations, though, don't you? People asking questions.
All the time. All the time. Yeah.
Brilliant. What year is it, Bernie?
1970.
1970. Wow, that is absolutely stunning, mate. I love it, and it's mint as well. All you need is love. Is that what you say to yourself when it's overheated on the side of the road? What engine is it, by the way?
No, it's a 1725. Same as the Super Minx, the Hillman Super Minx.
Oh yeah, is that the iron one?
Yeah, the iron one. Yeah, and it's got an overdrive box in it. Put an overdrive box in.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
Knocks it down a peg, which is good.
What's the top speed?
You can get 70 if you're going downhill and a good wind behind you. But
mate,
it's 50. 55.
You are brave. 70. I love it. Right, thank you very much for showing us around.
You're welcome.
Glorious day here in Costa del Stretford, and we've got more passing interest, so I thought I'd make a quick video. Bergerac's brought his TR7 out for a blast. He's fitted his new air conditioning radiator. So I thought we'd have, Birch, have a quick word. Are we out for a little test drive?
Yeah, we're just out for a bit of a test drive in the nice warmth. We're off to France in a couple of weeks. So.
Who's this beautiful
this
lady?
This is lovely Sarah.
Sarah?
She's the one who puts up with all the...
You're joking. I've been telling everyone you made her up. No way, mate. That brings a new level to the word, the definition punching. Fair play to you. Is he going to make sure he gets you a nice cup of tea today, Sarah?
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Maybe an ice cream, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Where are we going, mate?
Don't know. Somewhere sunny, hopefully.
It's sunny here in Costa
See if I can get it to overheat with the aircon on. Hopefully not.
It'll be perfect. If you've done it, it'll be perfect. Right, well, can you give us a bit of a tail wag on the exit onto Moss Road?
No, we're very sensible drivers on Moss Road.
God.
Are you not aware?
Second-hand car dealer. Right, have a nice day. Bye, Sarah.
See you later.
Okay, YouTubers, we're just here, and this chap who's in the unit down the units where I am, he goes banger racing, and I said, would you mind if I had a quick look at your car and a quick interview, because I think it's absolutely amazing the preparation these guys go to build these cars, just to go and have a crash really. They race on the oval circuits, and I have had a part in it in the past. His dad's my pal, and it's got a Ford 2.3 engine which his dad built in the workshop, and we dynoed it as well. It was actually quite powerful. It's like a twin cam Galaxy. I think they call it an i14 engine, 16 valve. But there's actually a lot of work goes into this. It's got limited slip diff and all sorts of collapsible shafts so it can take a crash. And look inside it, I mean, the strength, look at the floor plate in that, you know, it's a safe car. He's not getting hurt in this, no matter what happens, and they do crash into each other at high speed. If you ever go and watch it, it's quite good. So I'm going to try and interview Jack. Now Jack's not particularly keen on being interviewed, but we're just going to see how we get on. Hiya Jack, thanks for letting me take a video of your car. We're off to Mildenhall, I believe.
Yeah, going to Mildenhall today, racing tomorrow and Sunday.
So you're planning to get 2 days out of this?
There's pre-70 cars, obviously that's not pre-70, so they're on the Saturday, and then we're racing on the pre-90s on the Sunday.
Excellent. Is there a win in this car?
A win?
Yeah.
I mean, no, probably not.
Do you like crashing?
It's all right. It just hurts a little bit, but there's a lot of big daft cars going. So
Big daft cars.
yeah, there's big American things and stuff like that. So I don't think the Volvo will come back looking as pretty as it does now.
We'll try and get a shot of it in its second state after you've raced it, and then yeah. But mate, I've got to say the preparation level of that car is absolutely stunning. The floor plate, the doors, you know, the way. It's how many hours do you reckon you're putting this thing in the week after work?
I've been here till 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 times this week.
Wow.
And that's from like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Been cutting jobs short, but it is what it is.
Hey, you know what, mate? You can do a lot worse things than work on a banger car. That's brilliant. Fair play to you. It looks tremendous. My mate's been on the phone about them wheels. He says he'll give you 400 quid for them. Are you interested?
If they're alright after the weekend, you can have them back.
Something tells me they won't look like that on Monday morning.
Done a nice job of painting them, haven't
You have? Did you use masking tape, or have you just painted the tyres as well?
I painted the tyres so it looks like tyre shine. Can't afford everything, can we? Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, have a great race, and thanks for let me interview you.
Nice one.
Cheers. It's looking like a bit of a classic lineup outside here today. Got Bergerac, he's got an headache, he's really grumpy. Hopefully he's going to be okay with us. This is his wife's Ferrari that he bought her.
Not wife, not yet.
Oh, not wife, sorry, he's engaged to be married. I just can't wait for the kids to come. What's happened, Berg?
We've got a bit of a head gasket issue, I'm afraid.
Head gasket, it's a
Yeah,
5-cylinder.
big clouds of steam out the back, sadly, this morning.
Oh, mate.
So if anyone wants to take on a nice job.
Nice job, you don't want to sell it, no?
No, it's a classic, you can't sell something like this.
Mate, are those the headlights or the side lights?
These are the headlights for here, look.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
I like. Okay, YouTubers, hope you're still awake and you've enjoyed tonight's episode. There was plenty of random things going on, but I thought some of the cars, and especially that camper van, was especially sweet. And, you know, lovely little thing, that Bernie and Jim the camper van. Great. Have a great week. Hopefully I'll see some of you chaps on Saturday at Mallory Park. If not, I'll see you Sunday night, and we'll try and get some in-car footage so you can enjoy seeing what we've been up to. Bye for now.